This is the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast with Mike Kinnett and Ryan Herbert of ProStatus Financial, now celebrating 20 years helping families build successful retirements and lasting family legacies. Mike is a financial planner and estate planning attorney with a master's degree in tax and 4-time Amazon best-selling author. Ryan is a 5-star Wealth Management Award winner and top-ranked financial advisor by Forbes. Now, the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast.
Thanks again for staying with us here on the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast, now on YouTube as well. It is tax season, and that's a busy season. We don't like taxes. We don't like to do taxes, but we have to do them. And Mike and Ryan, their goal at ProStatus is to help you grow, keep, and distribute your wealth in the most tax-efficient manner possible. Mike is a financial planner, an estate planning attorney with a master's in tax, and 4-time Amazon best-selling author. Ryan Herbert, financial and tax planner and 5-star Wealth Management Award winner. I say that to say these guys really do know what they're talking about and what they're doing to help you save and retire correctly, Mike. So we were talking about saving for retirement and the huge tax bill that we could, if we don't do anything, are going to face. But it's almost like we're being penalized for saving because, like you always say, people do a great job of saving for retirement. Now what? Now you got taxes. Now you got the market that can all eat away at that. So what's the solution there?
Well, the solution really is to be working with an advisory team. So, if you're doing this yourself, you need to do the research to make sure you have things done right. If you're working with a financial advisor, you're working with some sort of tax team, they should have a written plan for you delineating the steps you need to take to make sure that you're in the lowest tax bracket today, but also the lowest tax bracket as you progress through retirement, and quite frankly, the lowest tax bracket possible as you transition the money to the next generation. And part of that is having that conversation on how you allocate your resources, right? It's having the money in the right buckets. Mm-hmm. We've been trained and encouraged to put money in IRAs and your 401ks all these years, but they never really explain to you the tax implications of when that money comes out. And fortunately or unfortunately, as the case may be, when Ryan and I, when you guys finally get to Ryan and myself, that's when we're then really taking the time to educating. That's really the first time you as the consumer are actually learning about the real tax implications of what you've done. So, a real true plan says we need to diversify your tax buckets, just like you understand from a risk tolerance point of view, right? You understand you can't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Mm-hmm. Some guy got a Nobel Prize, right, in economics for saying don't put all your eggs in one basket. Well, we agree, don't put all your eggs in one basket, but it's not just on the investment side. It's don't put all your eggs in the same tax bracket, right? Don't put all your eggs in the same tax bucket. There are so many different opportunities. You can have investments that you pay 0% tax on all the time. You could have investments that you could pay 0 or 15 or 20% tax on all the time. I mean, you have a built-in pension from the federal government that when they designed it, Social Security was designed to be tax-free, and yet most people that we experience pay taxes on it, right? And so it's because the people that come into the office, the people that have these issues, they haven't sat down with the right advice givers. Somebody told them how to invest the money, that's great, but never talked to them about the tax implications. And sure, they might have said, you could talk to somebody about a Roth, but they never really explore the true options. I was just talking to somebody the other day about this, and she had come in, she had seen us on the television years and years ago. She actually still lives down in Florida, and she had been subscribed to our newsletter, and we were sending newsletters every month. And she was working with this advisor out there in the Tampa Bay area, and she decided to finally give us a call. And we sat down and we took a look at her investments. And he had sold her a bunch of annuities. Now, people, whenever you hear the word annuity, people always roll their eyes back. And, was it sold by an annuity salesman? And are annuities good, bad, and otherwise? Well, the annuity accomplished her goal. So I don't have a problem with the fact that he sold her annuities. She wanted guaranteed income for life. And that's what an annuity will do. I mean, there's trade-offs, but that's what it does. The problem was he sold it to her in the wrong way. And it's creating all this incredible income, which is great, exactly what she wanted. And she had this annuity for almost 15 years. So the reality is that this advisor that she was working with had just met her before she came into my office, had just done a reallocation, because every year you can kind of transfer where the money is inside the annuity, had talked to her about maybe moving the annuity to someplace else so he could get paid again. But she agreed that it didn't make sense because the income was too great and couldn't replace the income. And he talked to her about the rest of her investments, what was going on there. They had a brief conversation about income, and income seemed to be fine. But nobody discussed with her and nobody mentioned to her that, hey, listen, how about we turn that $47,000 a year you're getting from your annuity that you're paying tax on every year, and when you pay tax on that $47,000 worth of annuity income, it forces your Social Security to be taxable. And when your Social Security is taxable, it forces your capital gains to be taxable. And when your capital gains are taxable, it's a vicious circle, and she's losing 20 to 30% right off the top. Now, she's in Florida, so at least she doesn't have to pay state taxes. But nevertheless, I don't think paying anybody 20 to 30% makes sense. You certainly wouldn't agree to lose 20 to 30% of your returns on purpose. And if an advisor said to her, hey, look, you know, that $47,000 you have coming in, you can have it tax-free or you can pay tax on it for the rest of your life. What would you prefer? She's not going to say, ooh, I want to pay tax on it for the rest of my life. So what we literally did, the actual value of that account at this point was about $16,000.
Wow.
So I sat down with her and I said, we're going to change this. We're going to make this tax-free for the rest of your life. We had to pay tax on that $16,000. No doubt. We paid tax on that $16,000, but the $47,000 going forward, tax-free for the rest of her life. And because now that $47,000 is tax-free, her husband and her, they have about $55,000 worth of Social Security. Social Security is tax-free. Because Social Security is tax-free, they only had about $20,000 a year of capital gains, but now their capital gains are tax-free.
You can go to the SavvyInvestorRadio.com, Savvy with two V's, always with two V's, and click on the portfolio protection and the 401k X-ray button, and that will get you to Mike, Ryan, and Lawrence's Calendly page. And basically what that is an online calendar, and you can book a 15-minute phone conversation to get you started today. Again, their goal is to help you grow, keep, and distribute your wealth in the most tax-efficient manner possible here on the Savvy Investor Radio Show and podcast and at ProStatus. And since we're talking about growing, and we love to hear you say that because we shouldn't be penalized for doing a good job of saving. And you guys are all about that. But how do we get there? How do we create that saving? And once we have a great bucket of money, then what do we do with it? Well, I want to play this from Leslie Latimer. She is a person on TikTok, and I don't know, that's somebody we should be getting advice from. But nonetheless, let's hear her out, and maybe we can get a lesson from that. Check this out, guys.
Rich people understand that the function of money is expansion. You should use your money to make more money. When you start to see money for what it actually is, a method of expansion, and when you see money as a vehicle for your own expansion, then the opportunities for you to make more money or expand just start presenting themselves for you to take.
Right. I want to go to you on this. Do you agree with that? You guys always talk about compounding interest, which means expansion, I would imagine, also means compounding taxes. Can we have both? Can we have protection and growth at the same time?
Yeah, you know, every time I hear one of these TikTok people or Instagram, I take it with a grain of salt. You know, I've listened to that audio clip now that you've sent me, 3 times now, and I really don't understand specifically what she's saying other than don't hide your money under a mattress. That's really all I'm kind of getting from it, because I think everyone knows that the money that I have, it should be earning something. Mm-hmm. That way it grows into more money. That way eventually I would retire. That is the entire point of any 401k. That's the entire point of any investing. And, like I said, every time I see these things, I have to laugh. I have a buddy, who does very well for himself down in Texas. He loves day trading in the stock market. And every other day he's sending me some TikTok video, some Instagram reel of somebody talking about, buy this stock. Here's the entry points, the extra points, and all these charts. And he's sending me pictures of his setup at home. He's got these 6 monitors and he's got all these candlestick charts and all these charts. And I just respond to him and say, okay, what are you doing with all that information? Because essentially you have all this information and it's really just noise. And, the whole point of saving for retirement is to grow the money as much as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. That's what everybody's goal is. Ever since you started investing in your 401k is I want to grow the money as much as you can. And that's what 99% of financial advisors out there focus on, is growing that money, getting everybody's money as big as it can so I have the most assets under management so I make more money. Well, what makes Mike and myself and Lawrence and our team here different is that you have done that job of growing your money as much as you possibly can to get you to retirement. What Mike and myself and our team here, what we focus on is now we want to preserve and protect it, make sure that you don't outlive your money, and we want to make sure that we're doing it in the most tax efficient manner as possible. That is the number one goal for Mike and our team. And when we present this to clients, every single time when we start talking about taxes, they're always shocked to see how much money they're going to pay over their lifetime in taxes. For most people, it's $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, as high as $15 million over the rest of their lifetime, over 30 years, essentially is kind of what we're looking at. And their question is, well, how come the person I'm working with, how come they've never said anything about this to me? And you're telling me this within the first 15 minutes of sitting down. And, Mike and myself, our answer always the same. This is the same thing, is they can't talk to you about it because, number one, they're not allowed to. The bottom of their statement says that, we can't talk to you about taxes. Go talk to a tax professional, or they're choosing not to do so. So the big thing that Mike and I and our team here that we focus on is saving that money in taxes. Just this past week, I had some employees come in. They were former government workers, so they were going to have really nice pensions. They also are going to have Social Security, and they saved about $2.5 million inside of their TSP and some outside 401ks for when they were working outside of the government. And when Lawrence and I sat down with them and I showed them this tax plan for them, here's what we want to do. Over their lifetimes, they were going to pay $5.6 million in taxes. This was from age 65 to 95. And that number is it's always shocking to people. But then by showing them, by putting a tax strategy in place, by starting Roth conversions on the money, by using life insurance as a investment tool for more tax-free income in retirement, we were able to drop those taxes over their lifetime from $5.6 million down to $1.8 million over that same lifetime. Sit down with Mike, myself, and our team here at ProStatus, and we'll put together your very own portfolio protection plan that talks about here's how you can preserve and protect your money so that you don't outlive your money in retirement. But most importantly, here's how we can save money on taxes.
Again, that's the SavvyInvestorRadio.com. We've talked about taxes. They've got the tax planning analysis. Also, the 401k. We've talked about growing your money and protecting it. You can click on the 401k X-ray button as well. Whatever it is that you're interested in, you can go to the SavvyInvestorRadio.com right now, and you can schedule a 15-minute phone conversation. You click that button, and it's going to go to their Calendly page, which is an online calendar, and you can schedule that today. You can do that right now at the SavvyInvestorRadio.com.
Advisory services offered through ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, a registered investment advisor. Insurance licensed in Maryland. ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, LLC is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if ProStatus Financial Advisors Group is licensed in your state, please call 410-863-1040. ProStatus Group, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through representatives of ProStatus Financial Advisors Group.